Welcome to the MTC Report, the news behind the news with journalist Mark Taylor-Canfield. We offer you independent voices and underreported stories about topics you won't hear anywhere else. Join us as we delve into the deeper issues behind the news stories of the day on the MTC Report.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Mark Taylor-Canfield in Seattle.
Hey, greetings from the Emerald City.
Is that really the name of Seattle? Oh, the Emerald City?
Yes, it is the land of the Wizard of Oz, actually. That is our name. Portland is the Rose City. We're the Emerald City. It is very green here.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if there is a wizard behind the curtain sometimes, and it's probably one of those billionaires you're talking about, although here the billionaires tend to be a little bit more progressive. You know, I'm talking about the Paul Allens and the Bill Gateses and the Jeff Bezos. But, you know, we have our own problem with our crisis of homelessness in Seattle. And so that's being tackled directly by some housing advocates that are running for city council, including John Grant. And we are going to have a female mayor, either Darcy Moon, an urban planner, or Jenny Durkin, a former U.S. attorney, both true progressives. But yeah, they want to end homelessness and create affordable housing in Seattle. It's a real crisis here, Tom, with the huge developments, real estate developments causing the rents to skyrocket, and people are leaving town in droves. And we have about 10,000 people without permanent residence in Martin Luther King Jr. County. And I'm sure that Dr. King would not be proud of that kind of statistics. But I want to let you know, I am now executive director of Democracy Watch News, which is a nonprofit international news service, and we are dedicated to covering pro-democracy movements around the world. So I'm really excited about that. We're off and running now. I'm still doing my MTC reports at YouTube and writing at the Capitol Hill Times. But today I called you about the Forbidden Stories Project, which is a project that was launched just the other day in Washington, D.C. at the museum by Reporters Without Borders and a group called the Freedom Voices Network. And the reason that they've done this is because there are some really shocking statistics recently about what's happening to journalists around the world. Let me give you a few facts quickly. 42 journalists, 5 non-professional journalists, 8 media workers have been killed this year. Wow. 183 journalists, 169 non-professional journalists, and 13 media workers are currently being detained around the world. And here's the kicker, Tom. More than 700 journalists have been killed in the last 10 years.
As we see the rise of Duterte-style and Erdogan-style authoritarianism across what used to be the small d democratic world, and Trump cheering it on, it seems that being a journalist is one of the most dangerous professions out there now.
Yes, Reporters Without Borders ran a sort of satirical ad campaign last year saying, 2016, a great year for dictatorship, you know, right. 2016, a great year for censorship. Well, that's because of what you just mentioned. And I wanted to let folks know also that according to the Reporters Without Borders World Press Freedom Index for 2017, the United States is currently ranked 43rd in the world in terms of press freedom. So we got a lot of work to do here. It's mostly a corporate, controlled press in the United States, not necessarily a state-run press. But Norway and Sweden are number 1 and number 2, so they probably are good examples to look to. Mm-hmm. But in response to this, alarming crackdown on freedom of the press in many countries around the world, Reporters Without Borders and the Freedom Voices Network launched this project. And the mission of this project is to keep reporting information that's been uncovered by journalists, even if they're imprisoned or killed. Mm. And by the way, the Freedom Voices Project is comprised of some of those folks who brought you the Panama Papers, including Bastian Obermeyer and the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists.
That's great.
They won a Pulitzer Prize.
Well, good luck with that, Mark, and keep us apprised. Keep us up to date on what's going on. Mark Taylor-Canfield in Seattle. Thank you, Mark.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Freedom of information is under attack in many parts of the world. Only 1 in 7 people live in a country with a free press. We are a collaborative journalism network devoted to publishing the work of journalists who are threatened, jailed, or killed. Our goal? Keeping stories alive and making sure people get access to independent information on critical topics such as the environment, public health, human rights, or corruption. If you are a journalist facing threats, you can drop your sensitive information through one of our secure communication channels. Your story will be held securely and will never be published without your consent. If something happens to you, following your instructions, we will be able to complete and publish your story broadly, thanks to a collaborative network of news organizations committed to tackle censorship. Forbidden Stories ensures the survival of stories beyond borders, beyond governments, beyond censorship.
Our democracy may face a crisis of historic proportions.
But there is good news.
There is good news.
There is good news. Thousands of people are stepping forward in solidarity, resistance,
and resolve.
We join them.
We join them.
We join them
in standing with the most vulnerable communities among us.
Those most likely to be targeted by new restrictions and policies.
We will tell their stories here.
Here
on Free Speech TV.
We will lift their voices here
on Free Speech TV.
In the difficult times ahead, know that we will be with you
24 hours a day.
Every day.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
There are millions of us.
Raising our voices and hearts together as one.
We've got your back.
We got your back.
Free Speech TV's got your back.
The revolution is in progress.
This is the MTC Report, the news behind the news with journalist Mark Taylor-Canfield.
I've been criticized saying that. Let me say it again.
Now here's a place you always meet a lot of friends.